Whew. Okay, we go into the park. Okay guys, welcome back. I have not been on YouTube for 11 months and I kind of owe you guys an explanation, and hopefully in this video you'll get one, but also a promise that I'm going to change things and I'm going to make more videos in the new year. However, a couple of things I really want to talk about. I've not made a video in 11 months and I miss it. I mean, I was making videos for my podcast, Making It, which you can check out, which I did with my friend Sugar, but I didn't really advertise that super well. The second thing is that I kind of felt like I was going on autopilot, and oh, there we go. Let's park this up, mate. I've just felt like I've been on autopilot this year. Like, a lot has happened to me in my personal life. When it came about, it made me feel like I had to just slow down in what I'm doing, in what I'm creating, and I was okay with that. I'm still okay with that. Do I wish I was able to make videos at the same time? Of course, but you know, when this kind of stuff happens, you just kind of got to run with it and just kind of like be in the moment. But I got comfy. I got way too comfy with going to work, coming back, seeing friends, family, just doing the sort of, I want to say bare minimum, but it just felt like I wasn't prioritizing or making the time for anything like this or some of my other projects. And my other issue is that I always spread myself too thin. I've not spoken about this before, but you guys may have noticed that I'm not necessarily consistent with a lot of the things that I do. It's one big flaw with me. I really suck at it. It's because I got this shiny object syndrome where if I'm working on something, I get that initial high, I really love doing that. And then I find a new project and I try and, you know, spend a lot of, I go all out on that for a bit, you know, a decent amount of time, but I never stick with the same thing for an extended period of time. But what I'm going to do is, I'm going to slow down on everything else. The little time that I do have, I'm going to work on videos like this, and hopefully that will improve my output. Maybe I'll be making more videos like that. And towards the end of the year, I was pretty close to putting out another video. I mean, I really wanted to make a video from my travels in Jordan, which I went in sort of early October. That was one of my favorite trips ever, and I was super excited to be like, okay, this is going to take some time, but I'm going to start working on it. This video is going to slap just like, you know, the Dolomites and Iceland, where it's going to be a big project. But then the day we were planning to leave for the airport, we were literally getting ready to leave. That was October 7th. I'm pretty sure everyone by this point knows what happened on October the 7th. I'm of course talking about what's happening in Israel and Palestine, and it's been sort of the elephant in the room in life since then. So I kind of just wanted to spend a few minutes talking about that, why it's so impactful to me and to a lot of people around me, and I just wanted to talk about it for a minute, especially if you're the type to not really care about these sort of situations and rather just get on with life. This video is specifically for you. Please just give me a few minutes and just hear me out. Ever since that day, it's been almost impossible to enjoy any part of life without opening up social media or opening my phone and seeing the horrors of what's going on in Palestine. And a lot of people are just acting as if everything's normal, you know, like business as usual. I get that. A lot of people don't want to be bothered by this. I used to think that there's so many problems and so many things that we can be paying attention to. Why specifically isolate a few things? Why should we allow it to bother our lives? Let's just carry on like usual, because it's easy, right? And I'm kind of ashamed to say that before I never really took the time to properly figure out a plan of what I was going to do to try and change things, to try and help, essentially. I know that there's, you know, also massive issues going on in Sudan and Congo, and that just plays into the point which I'm trying to make about us needing to do more. The Israel and Palestine conflict has been something which I've been following closely for a long time. It's one that's very close to my heart. But what really affects me is that for the last 2 months, we've seen the very worst in people, the very worst in humanity. We've seen straight up lies, we've seen indiscriminate killings, we've seen censorship online, we've seen wrongful discipline of people in schools and universities where they shouldn't be. We've seen our politicians straight up lie to our faces. We've seen them vote no for a ceasefire. I've been part of the marches. One of them even went over 1 million people. 1 million people took to the streets of London to protest this. If you go to one of these protests, you will see people from all walks of life. It's not a race issue, it's not an ethnicity issue, it's an issue of humanity. We need to be able to say that this is wrong, irrespective of who is doing it and to who. We should be able to say this is wrong and how do we stop it? How do you kind of reconcile that kind of feeling of just being helpless and not being represented by people who are supposed to represent you, the politicians, the United Nations, these big councils who are supposed to stop these things? We're just watching it happen in 4K on our screens day in, day out, and it's taken a big toll on me. It's been taken a big toll on a lot of other people, and the truth of the matter is it would feel wrong for me to try and get my YouTube channel started up again and try and do better in making more content without addressing the massive elephant in the room, which is this ongoing genocide. Like, this is Christmas Day, I'm recording this, it is still ongoing. Every way that I've looked at this issue, all answers point towards we need to do better. We need to care more, we need to do more, we need to be more active, we need to protest, we need to boycott, we need to challenge people, we need to stand up for what we believe in, even if it loses us opportunities, even if it loses us money or takes up our time and affects our conscience and causes us stress. Because none of us are free until we're all free. We should be able to empathize and sympathize with other people, irrespective of if it ever does reach us. At the end of the day, how can we be seeing this footage of children in pieces, of innocent men and women paying the price of genocide, ethnic cleansing, apartheid, and our governments are just defending it? I wish I could block it all off, but I can't, and I don't want to, because we should be feeling this way. We should be feeling stressed about it. We should be feeling disturbed. That's a very human reaction to seeing disturbing things. I'm kind of ashamed to say that although I've been following this issue for years now, this is the first time that I've taken it upon myself to actually seriously boycott, seriously protest, and I hope that maybe you might consider doing so too. There's no avoiding that these atrocities will go on, and if you've been the type to sort of not share, not speak up, maybe it's time to consider taking it upon yourself to change that. Also, just like seeing people that I used to look up to, big YouTubers, journalists, YouTube journalists, at the end of the day, they control the narrative. Whoever speaks controls the narrative. If you're silent, you're not controlling the narrative. You can support who you want, but if you've got 10 voices saying a bad thing and one voice saying a good thing, you're going to get drowned out. And so we need to continue communicating what we believe to be is right. We need to be able to represent ourselves and our communities. We need to represent our thoughts and not only counter what we believe to be incorrect and misinformation, but we need to make a reasonable effort to represent what is actually true and spread the truth. The funny thing is that, like, I used to look at people who protested, like, where do they get this energy from? Why are they out here screaming at the top of their lungs and making themselves look like this, making themselves look all hot and bothered? But now when I see them, I see people who genuinely care enough to take the time out of their lives, make placards, go and show up to a cause that they believe in, follow that cause, and actually care enough to make some noise, to say something, even though they might be made to look like crazy people. They care enough to show up and do something about the issues that they believe are wrong. Growing up, I never really appreciated it. I hated politics growing up. I hated the fear-mongering, I hated watching the news, I hated all the lies, which obviously still go on, but at the same time, life is politics. Your relationships are politics. Your business is politics. Politics is ingrained in life and you can't avoid it. We need to do better. We need to do more. And I just wanted to wrap up by just saying two things. Number one is that I'm hoping to make more videos and I hope you can look forward to that. And the second thing is that I'm also going to try and be better with caring about what's going on in the world. I really hope that you'll try and join me in getting out of this autopilot mode and being asleep when it comes to these big issues. And yeah, I'll see you in the new year. Happy holidays.